Welcome back to Release Control, the podcast where we dive deep into real life challenges that we all fucking face. This episode is episode 18. I started this podcast back on August 26, 2024, and we are still fucking kicking, going strong. So this is the last podcast of the year. 18 episodes. This is number 18. A lot happened for me in 2024, and we're just going to go over everything that has happened, everything that I had to endure, everything that changed my mindset, changed how I viewed life, changed how I viewed myself, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. So we'll just jump right in. I appreciate y'all stopping by and listening. This one's going to be a deep one. I thought about a lot of things when I sat down to see what I would talk about for this last episode of 2024. And I just wanted to cover everything, give y'all an insight of what, everything that's occurred in my life the past year, why I started the podcast, why I do the podcast, and everything in between. I am an open book. I tell it how it is. I tell my side, the things that I've gone through, my challenges, how I've faced them, whether it's been successful, whether it's not been successful. And this year had a lot of ups, and then halfway through had a lot of downs, and then went back up, just like life, just like life, just like everyone's life. We all have good moments, then we go have bad moments, and then we have good moments again. So it's nothing different than anyone else that's living their life, but I am sharing mine in hopes that I can help other people that are navigating tough challenges and having a difficult time doing it. Maybe something that I've done can inspire someone, help someone, or they can see the failures that I've had and maybe not have the same failures in their life. So this year started off strong. 2024 started off strong. I had a girlfriend. We had plans, everything. Talked about it all, living together, the whole house, everything, living together forever, being together forever. And it was going good, just like any other relationship. It had ups, it had downs. We had good times, we had bad times, but nothing that I was worried about up until July when it ended. She ended the relationship or chose to keep the relationship from coming back together. I won't go into detail of it. I had my things and she had her things, and it was just two individuals, right? Because I'm an anxious, at least in that relationship, I had very anxious tendencies and she had avoidant tendencies, and we just could not meet in the middle. I mean, she tried her hardest, I tried my hardest, but I had insecurities. I needed reassurance, and she just couldn't do that all the time. And it's nothing bad on her, nothing bad on her. It's just two people that tried to be together, tried to make it work, and just couldn't make it work. And she had the strength to walk away, and she knew that the relationship was going to be over, and she chose what she chose, and that's okay. We all choose what we want in life, and she chose to walk away and in the relationship. And it was hard for me to accept. There was moments that I went back and I begged for her back. Knowing that I shouldn't have, knowing that I shouldn't have to beg somebody, I did, and it sucked. Looking back now, thinking that, hey, you fucking begged for this person back is something that I regret as far as begging for her back. I don't regret the relationship. It was an amazing time that we had. It was a love that I'll know forever. She'll always have a place in my heart. And yeah, that's that, and it was tough though. It was tough. Even in the relationship, it was tough because her being an avoidant, she never expressed her feelings, and she worked on it though. She tried her best, and she put in the work, and she got better for herself. And, it's just still we had too many things that just bumped heads, and it just didn't work out. And, I hope she's doing well. I haven't talked to her for a while. After the last time that I was like, hey, please or whatever, she's doing well, and it is what it is, With that being said, though, I now sitting here compared to where I was about 5 months ago, almost over 5 months ago, I am in a better place now than I was back in early 24 in that relationship. And it took me a very long time to get there, to understand that this is the best move. Though she made it, and though it hurt me, and though at the moment I felt destroyed, I'm not destroyed. That did not destroy me. You see, that last episode, the episode before this, when I talked about how words matter and what we talk, or how we talk to ourselves and what we say to ourselves matters. And it does. Right? Because at the end of that relationship, I was talking to myself like, no one loves me. I'm going to be alone. I'm 44 years old. I'm single. Who's going to want me? I feel destroyed. She destroyed me. And just really fucking feeling sorry for myself, really in those emotions. And now that I look back, I wasn't destroyed. People do want me. And it's just understanding that your brain is going to tell you shit that's not true. That little voice in your head is going to tell you stuff that's not true. So that's why mindset is so important. You see, these past 5 months, I've really dove into myself, really learning about myself, loving myself and being happy with myself, because before I wasn't. In that relationship, in my marriage, before that, I was not happy with who I was. For whatever reason, there was always a reason that I was not happy with myself, always a reason why I didn't love myself. And I can blame it on my childhood. I can blame it on so many things. But at the end of the day, we have to take accountability. And I had to take accountability and really look into why I was not happy with myself and start changing that and start loving myself. So these past 5 months, I've put in a lot of work into figuring out who I am, what I want in life, what I want to do, how I want a person to show up for me, what kind of person I want. And it's been a great 5 months. And it's been tough looking in the mirror and being like, hey, there's things you have to work on. You're not perfect. There's a lot you have to work on. There's a lot you have to do. But at the end of the day, you can do it. You can work on it. You can show up for yourself, and you can love yourself. And these past 5 months, I've learned a lot. I've learned that at the end of the day, the only person that really has you is you. You see, I saw a quote on social media. It says that people love at different levels. And you never know exactly what that person means when they say, I love you. You don't know how long that I love you is going to last. You see, I thought my ex meant it forever, but things got too tough for her, and she decided to walk away. And it's stuff that she didn't want to address and talk and work through. And I respect that. That's her choice. But my I love you for her was forever. I meant it, So each individual person loves at a different level, means I love you at a different level. And you have to be okay with somebody walking out of your life. And that goes back to having that secure attachment in that relationship, knowing that, hey, if my partner leaves, it's going to hurt. It's going to be devastating, but I am going to be okay. And I wasn't there at that time when I was in that relationship. I want to believe I am there now, but I haven't been in a relationship since her, right? I haven't been in a relationship in the past 5 months, and I'm open to it. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I was really not focused into getting a rebound relationship or anything like that. So I don't know if I'm secure. I want to believe I am. I think I am. I think I've put in the work. I think I'm getting there. Knowing that you cannot give your all to somebody without giving your all to yourself first. You have to love yourself. You have to fill your cup before you can fill anyone else's cup. And I didn't know that. I just poured into her, and it wasn't fair. A lot of the things I did wasn't fair. I needed her love to feel worthy, to feel validated, to feel like I was enough. And that's not fucking fair to ever do to somebody. Now looking back, maybe I wasn't the best boyfriend because I was asking for too much from her, and she wasn't able to give it. And maybe that's why she felt certain ways about certain things. And it's real shitty because I didn't ever want to make her feel pressured or make her feel like she needed to be someone else. But when you make someone or make someone feel like they need to validate the relationship or tell you all the time that they're not going anywhere, maybe that makes them feel a certain way. Maybe that makes them feel like they're not enough, that they're not giving enough, that, they're trying so hard, but it's still not enough for you. So I can understand how that can be frustrating, how that can be difficult for someone. So there was a lot of things that I did that weren't fair in that relationship that, I own, that I need to work on before I get into my next relationship. Because in my next relationship, I don't want to make my partner feel that they need to reassure me all the time, or that they need to love me that in ways that will make me feel validated or feel loved. Because at the end of the day, that's on me. I need to love myself enough to feel it, to be okay with it. I don't need to get that from someone else. So there's a lot of things that I'm still working on, a lot of things that I'm aware of, and we'll see how it goes, So yeah, that was probably one of the bigger things. And then, my relationship with my daughter, my youngest, wasn't the greatest for a long time this year. And things have gotten a lot better the past couple of months. I'm talking to her more often. I'm seeing her, for Christmas. So this podcast is being recorded before Christmas. So right now we are the 19th, and I'm pre-recording this because I'm going down to Texas to pick up my daughters, to bring them back here so I can spend Christmas with them, and then I'll head back down to Texas and drop them off with their mom. So I'm pre-recording this because I will be traveling. That way it's already recorded, saved, and I can just fucking upload it. So right now I'm filming this early, just like I filmed episode 17, as you're gonna know by the time you watch it. So these past two episodes, 17 and 18, are pre-recorded early. That way I can spend max amount of time with my daughters, enjoy their time, and not have to, spend time recording, uploading, editing, and all this other stuff on this podcast. So with that being said, yes, I'll spend time with my daughters for Christmas, and it's going to be fucking amazing, and I can't wait. So yeah, the breakup, my daughter's, the relationship with my daughter, which has gotten a lot better. I'm so fucking grateful, because at the end of the day, my daughters mean everything to me. They are my entire world. I would do anything for them. And to ever feel like I have jeopardized that relationship hurts me and makes me wonder that, hey, are you doing a great job or not? So yeah, I'm just glad that the relationship with my youngest is improving and it's getting better. So that's amazing. And with that going on, with the breakup, I was in a very depressed state over the summer. It took a lot for me to get out of, because I was fighting it alone. I'm one of those individuals that don't share much with a lot of people. So being on social media and doing this podcast is very outside of my comfort zone. And the reason I keep doing it is because it's outside of my comfort zone, and it allows me to be vulnerable. It allows me to be free. It allows me to express myself and share my stories, because at the end of the day, someone else is going through the things I'm going through. And I want them to know that they're not alone, because the things I go through, I'm not going through it alone. There's other people that are going through it, other people that are going through breakups, other people that are having difficult, relationships with their kids, other people that are going through depression, other people that are fighting every single day, whatever battle they have. And I just want them to know that they're not alone, that I'm going through it. I've been through a lot of things, and I'll be going through a lot of things in the future. That's life. It's fucking life, right? So I spent several months depressed. I'm barely getting out of that right now. And it went to, being alone. It went to the words that I was saying to myself. I'm alone. No one loves me. Fucking, I'll be alone forever. I don't want to be fucking lonely. All these words that I was saying to myself, which was all a fucking crock of bullshit. Because again, it's your little voice telling you bullshit, right? And you start believing it unless you have the mindset to fucking not believe it unless you have the ability to start changing the words you say to yourself. And that's where the work started, because I had to. I did not want to continue being depressed. I did not want to continue feeling sorry for myself. I did not want to continue thinking my ex was amazing or on a pedestal, or that I would never move on from her. I could not live that way, because it's not true. You see, I lived a life before her, and I will live a life after her. And that's the beauty in it, right? That's why you have to feel your emotions. That's why a rebound relationship, rebound sex, none of that shit is going to help you move on from an ex, because all you're doing is numbing the pain. All you're doing is filling the void for the next person into your life, the next person. And all that trauma, all that baggage from that previous relationship is just going to go into that new relationship, and it's going to have the same outcome. You're going to have a new ex. And that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that I got over her, worked on myself, and I was ready for someone else. And, there was a lot of moments that I wanted to fucking not do that. There was a lot of moments that I wanted to fill the void. There was a lot of moments that I didn't want to feel the pain, that I wanted to numb the pain with dating, with new people, with sex. But I knew if I did that it was not going to help me. It was going to feel fucking amazing at the time, right? Because it does. When you talk to somebody new, it's amazing, right? It feels great. They're filling a void. You're happy. You're having sex and so on. Everything's great. But when it stops, you're still fucking sad. You're still depressed. You're still thinking about your ex. So why not just deal with the pain, deal with all the thoughts, the emotions, the sadness up front, get over it, right? However long it takes, get over it. And then you can move on to dating, talking, meeting someone, and into your new relationship. That's how I saw it. Everyone does it however they want to do it. But I don't think rebound relationships, rebound sex is ideal. I don't think it fucking works. And I think most of the time it always ends sooner or later. And it's just a fucking cycle over and over that you're doing. You're dating somebody, you end it, you move on to someone else, date them, end it, move on to someone else. And it's just a fucking cycle of just bullshit, right? So I don't recommend that whatsoever. And then another thing that happened around that time was I dropped my retirement packet for, to retire out of the military, and it got approved, right? So worrying about my transition from the military to civilian life, going through depression, going through the things with my youngest daughter not wanting to talk to me, upset at me, and then going through the breakup, right? And dealing with all this alone. It was a lot at the time, right? It's a lot. To the point that I started to see my therapist again to talk about it. And that visit fucking made me feel worse when I left. I was more depressed after that therapy session. It was almost like it was like a scab trying to heal. And then I went to therapy and they just pulled the fucking scab off and it was gushing blood. That's what it felt like. I don't know. It's probably part of the process, but I don't know. I haven't seen my therapist since. I see them again in January, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so going through all those things in a short amount of time over the summer, probably within, 3 to 4 or 5 months of each other, and just having to deal with all that alone is tough. Yeah, you have friends and you have people to talk to, but it's still not the same because it's your shit that you have to deal with. Right? When you go through breakups and your friends go through breakups, right? We all tell each other, hey, it's, you're going to find someone better. It's okay. That person wasn't good for you. The grass is greener on the other side. But it's easy to say that when you're not going through it. But when you're going through it, it's tough. You have the feelings, you have the emotions. You don't have that when you're giving the advice. When you're not going through it, it's not the same thing. Right? Because I know what to tell myself. Like, hey, dude, it's fine. Like, she moved on, you moved on. It's okay. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to be able to fucking find someone else. It's different when you're going through it. When you're sitting in that pain, when you're sitting through those emotions, when you're sitting through that sadness and not wanting to feel it and you're good for a day, and then all of a sudden you're fucking shitty the next day, and you're good for a week, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere you see a fucking car, or hear a song, or something reminds you of them, and you're fucking just plummeting down again, and then you're good for 2 weeks, and then you're plummeting down again, and it's just a fucking cycle. And that's why a lot of people fucking fill the void. That's why a lot of people numb the pain, because it sucks, because it's not easy. All right, so it's year started off great, fucking went down just like the stock market. It goes up, it comes down, right? So 2024 started off amazing. Boom, man. It was amazing. And then it dips. And it dips and it dips and it dips and it keeps going down. And then now it's coming back up. Now it's coming back up because these past 5 months, I've spent the time to figure out what I want to do, what my passion is, what my purpose is in life. I figured out loving myself. I figured out that, hey, I need to be a priority in my own life. And by doing that, I have started to love myself. I have started to be okay being by myself, because in the beginning of that breakup, I was not okay. It sucked being alone in my house, but now it's nice. Now it's okay. Now I don't fucking think of it as a bad thing or a negative thing. I see me being single as an opportunity for me to love myself, to be with myself, to do what I want, not have to answer to anybody. And it's fucking such an amazing thing to be single. And I'm not saying single for 5, 10, 20 years. I'm saying for this amount of time. Whatever that X amount of time is, be single, work on yourself, try to love yourself, and that's where the focus needs to be, especially after a breakup, or if you're single right now. Really focus on yourself, whatever that is, your health, your mind, your body, whatever you want to focus on. You have the opportunity to focus on it because you are single. You have no one to really worry about, no one to really answer to, no one to really show up for other than yourself. And that's amazing. There's no pressure there. Take that as an opportunity to really put in the work and the effort to improve, to get better, to show up for yourself. And that was the biggest thing that I've learned, is showing up for yourself, man. That was so difficult for me. Loving myself was so difficult. And when you get there, it feels fucking amazing when you can look in the mirror and say to yourself that I love you. It's fucking amazing knowing that I have myself, that I have my back, that I'm always going to be there for myself, for my younger self, is fucking amazing. And that's where I want people to be. This is the whole reason I started this podcast. One of many reasons. One major reason was I needed to get out of my comfort zone. I needed to test myself. I needed to stop being an introvert because I want to be an extrovert. But for so many years, so many reasons, I didn't do it. It was uncomfortable. But now I am pushing myself past my limit, past that comfort, and doing this. Because for so many years, I didn't share shit on social media. I didn't post videos on social media. I would have never done this fucking podcast. And I've wanted to do a podcast for fucking years, probably at least since 2020, 2021 or so. But it was always, what are people going to think? What if it doesn't work? I don't know what I'm doing. What am I going to talk about? Now it's like, who gives a shit, right? Now my purpose is helping people. And this is such a great opportunity, a great way to help people, to have people hear your story, to have people hear how you navigate through things. So my biggest thing is find your purpose in life. Find what you love. Find what brings joy to you. And that's helping people. I think I mentioned it on every video or every podcast or every other podcast, is I enjoy helping people. That is what brings me joy. That is what brings me fucking purpose in life, is knowing that somebody that's going through something is able to keep fighting through and get to the other side, because it's not going to last. That's my biggest thing with this podcast, was getting out of my comfort zone and helping people and sharing my story and how I've navigated through all these challenges of my life, because everyone is going through something, right? Everyone has a story. Everyone has challenges. Everyone has ups and downs in life. But how we show up, how we react to them, how we not give up defines us, shows you who you are in the tough times when you show up for yourself and you don't give up, right? So that is so fucking important. So, I jotted some goals down for 2025 that I really want to focus on. So 2025, as y'all know, my retirement has been approved. I will be getting out of the Army early 2026. So I have a little over a year left in the military, in the Army. And then I'll be a civilian. So between now and then, I'm hitting social media, hitting the podcast hard. But within 2025, I have several goals that I really want to focus on. And the number one is spending more time with my daughters, traveling down to Texas to see my daughters as much as possible, as much as free time that they have and that I can make to go down and see them, whether it's monthly, every month, or every other month, whatever it may be. I want to get down there to see them, to be there for them, and spend more time with them, because my oldest is about to graduate. She's about to graduate high school, and she'll be in college next year, and she's going to be busy, and she's going to be a young adult, and she's going to be living her life. So I plan to go down there, plan to see them for Christmas, and then go down there for my youngest daughter's birthday, and then go down there again a few months after that, so I can take them to a play that hopefully I can get out of work, take them to a play that they've been wanting to see, and then be down there for my oldest daughter's graduation, and then be back down there to help my daughter and my ex-wife get my daughter into college. So that's kind of where I want to be with my kids. I want to spend more time with them, especially this 2025, because once I'm a civilian, it'll be easier. I'll be able to see them every weekend, because I'll be moving back to Texas, and I'll just be a couple hours away from them, and I will see them often. So that's what I want to do with 2025 while I'm over here and they're down there, is really maximize the amount of time that I have to go see them. And then the podcast. I really want to push this podcast hard and make it a podcast that, is out there, that is helping people, that is just giving insight into the things that I've done, how I've navigated, and just kind of help people through the things that they're going through. That's what I want to do with this podcast, is inform and help. And it's been great, because I've received so many messages on social media from people that have listened to the podcast, and they say, "Hey, I thank you for sharing your story. A lot of things that you say resonate with me." And that means that I am doing something right. That means me being authentic and telling my story and telling this and navigating through my life and sharing it is helping somebody. And that's all I've ever wanted to do, whether it's one person or fucking thousands of people. That's all I've ever wanted to do, was to help somebody with this podcast. And then my next goal is to grow on social media. And it's hard with having a full-time job and then coming home and really focus on social media and making videos and making the podcast and clipping it and putting it on social media. It's a job within itself, and it takes time and it takes effort, and I'm doing it, and it's been fun. I enjoy it. There's moments in time that I'm like, fuck, I get discouraged. It becomes a lot, but I keep going because I'm telling a story, I'm sharing something, and I'm helping somebody. It comes down to helping. That's all I give a shit about, is helping somebody. Whether it's one person, hundreds, thousands, whatever it may be. I just want to help people. So growing my social media is another priority of mine. And another goal is, let me see what I have right here. I'm thinking about maybe like being a life coach or a relationship coach and just help people, right? And again, not because I have all the answers, not because I know everything. It's because I'm 44, man. I've lived life. I've been single. I've dated. I've been married. I'm divorced. I had a fucking relationship with someone that lasted a pretty long time, and I know how relationships work. I know how people think. I know about mindset. I know about self-talk because I've lived it. I've had to I've had to change my mindset. I've had to change my self-talk. So I understand if you're an overthinker. I understand if your self-talk is negative. I understand if sometimes you don't believe in yourself, you doubt yourself. I understand if you're in a marriage and you're struggling to communicate with your partner. I understand all that because I've lived it. I've either failed at it or I've succeeded at it, right? So I know what it's like to go through these things that everyone's going through. And I just want to fucking share my story and help people. Because it's always good to have a third party kind of like evaluate you from the outside looking in and just be like, hey, here's kind of what I'm seeing. You know, it's not right, it's not wrong, but here's kind of what I'm seeing, like a self-assessment, right? Because it's hard for people to do a self-assessment on themselves. It really is. It takes a lot of self-awareness and a lot of accountability and a lot of pushing that ego to the side and looking in the mirror, right? Hypothetically, looking in the mirror and say, you know what? I have this wrong with me, or not wrong with me, but I would like to improve this. I would like to improve that. I can show up better here. I can do this a little bit better. It takes a lot of self-awareness, accountability, and pushing that ego to the side. Your ego can be one of your biggest fucking obstacles in order to move on in life, because your ego, if it's fragile, can really fucking hurt your feelings. And if you're not able to control your ego, it can really fuck up your life, right? And when I say ego, that means like when you think you're too good or too beautiful or too attractive or you're too awesome or you're too whatever the case may be, you're the best at work or you're the best at this, and then somebody better comes around or someone more attractive or someone that really lets you know like, hey, you're really not that good at this or you're really not as attractive as you think, right? And then your ego gets hurt and then you get all butthurt and you get emotional. So it's good to have someone on the outside looking in and say, hey, here's what I see. Here's here's an assessment of what I see. You know, what's your self-assessment? Does it match? How can we work? How can we get better? How can we improve? How can we be better humans? How can we be a better partner? How can we be a better husband? How can we be a better wife? Right? Because if you're married, you want to be the best husband, the best wife for your partner. If you're in a relationship, you want to be the best boyfriend or girlfriend for your partner. If you're, with your friends, you want to be the best friend for your fucking friends, right? You want to, whatever relationships, you want to be the best so you can show up and be the best person for them, because they deserve that. And you deserve to be the best version of yourself so you can succeed in life, so you can show up for yourself, so you can love yourself. It all fucking intertwines within itself when you're working on being the best version of yourself, when you're really putting in the effort to show up every single day, take accountability for the things that you do and don't do, your shortcomings. It's easier said than done, but it's possible. It's really, really possible to do. So, life coach, relationship coach, or whatever, only again because I've lived it. I've been through it. My marriage was 16 years. I did a lot of soul searching there. I learned a lot in that marriage, a lot of things that I could have done better, a lot of things that I should have done better, a lot of ways that I should have showed up for my ex-wife that I didn't. At the end of the day, we're all human. I was younger. I did not know a lot of the things that I know now of why I acted the way I acted, how I showed up, why I showed up that way, or why I felt certain ways about certain things. Now I'm more aware, more wise, I guess, the older I've gotten, So I have a lot of experience in marriage, a lot of experience in dating and relationships, how to show up how to show up for people, how to communicate effectively, how to listen, how to actively listen to ensure that you are understanding what they're saying, how to talk to people, how to show up for people, right? They're all skill sets that you can learn if you put in the work. And then one of my last goals is transitioning out of the military, transitioning out of the army. How does that look, right? What am I going to do? Breaking it down by how many months I have, how many days I have, and really focus on that transition. What am I going to do in my civilian world? All that stuff. What am I doing? That's my focus. So I have a lot on my plate that I'm balancing and really focused on for 2025. You know, being in the military and transitioning to a civilian is a big adjustment, right? Not only are the words different, but the job is different. The fucking uniform is different. The way people talk is different. The type of individuals at a civilian job and military is different. The jobs itself are different. The Army as a company is different than any other company in the civilian world. It's all different. It all takes time to adjust, but it's going to be fun, and I'm excited and I look forward to it. By the time I retire, I will have done 24 years in the Army. I've seen a lot of things. I've traveled a lot of places. I've done a lot of different things. And, now I'm going to be a civilian. It's going to be different, but I look forward to the change. I look forward to the new chapter in life. I will most definitely miss my time in the Army because the Army is a culture. The Army is a way of life. I joined when I was 22 years old. 22 years old. I'll be almost 46 by the time I retire. So I joined around 21. I was almost 22. So I've been in all my adult life. And this is all I've ever known. So now I need to worry about resumes. Now I need to worry about fucking cover sheets and all these other different things that I've never had to do. But I find joy in learning about it and doing it. And, I look forward to it. I will continue to do this podcast. I will continue to do this side and see how this goes. Again, y'all all know my plan from the last couple of episodes, what I want to do with this podcast, what my goal is with this podcast and social media, right? Until I'm able to reach that, I will continue with working and stuff like that as a civilian, and we'll go from there. So that's my goals. And yeah, I'll leave you with this though. We all go through things. We do. And every day, every hour, every week, every month, every year is going to be different. You're going to have seasons where things are going amazing. You're going to have seasons where things aren't necessarily the best. You're going to have times where you're in a great relationship. You're going to have times where you're single. You're going to have moments where people love you, and you're going to have moments where they may not love you anymore. But what I want you to remember is to always show up for yourself, to always love yourself, to always put yourself first in a relationship. And it goes back to you can't love someone if you don't love yourself, right? And people say that, and I've done a lot of thinking on that. In that relationship, I don't know. I loved her. I did. I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't loving myself, but I loved her. So maybe you can love somebody when you don't love yourself. Who knows? I'm not a fucking doctor. I don't know. But I highly recommend to really love yourself more than you love someone else, because when they walk away, you still have you. You still know that you're going to show up for you. And that is what I want you to remember, is you need to love yourself more than you love them. I need you to show up for yourself all the time. I need you to not put yourself on the back burner. I need you to express your feelings, express your thoughts, express your needs, express your desires in any type of relationship. I want you to make sure you set boundaries. 2025 is going to be a great year. I need y'all to start saying that to yourselves. I need y'all to really, really believe 2025 is going to be an amazing year for you, because I believe it. I believe 2025 is going to be amazing. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, but overall, 2025 will be an amazing fucking year. As long as you believe that it's going to be an amazing year, you have to bring it into fruition. You have to believe it into existence. And I've gotten to that point that I believe what I'm doing with my heart, and I believe that this will take off. I believe what I'm doing is for good, because I'm trying to help people, and people will catch on, and this will go, and this will explode. So remember, love yourself, show up for yourself, set boundaries, and don't take the bare minimum from anybody. Do not accept the bare minimum from anyone. And if you're not happy with yourself, work on yourself. Show up for yourself. Push your ego to the side and really dive deep into the things that you want to work on. And then really focus that for 2024 or 2025. Really focus on yourself. Focus on your loving yourself. Focus on showing up for yourself. With that being said, I'm glad that y'all are following. I'm glad you're listening to the podcast. Again, please share it. Please share with your friends, your family, coworkers, whoever listens to podcasts. Show them this podcast. Share this podcast. 2025, we're going to be talking about all kinds of different topics, and we're going to dive deep into it. So with that being said, leave a comment. If you listen to the video or listen to the podcast, leave a comment. Say hey, whatever. Find me on social media. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on everything. Release Control Podcast. Just search Release Control Podcast and you'll find me. Follow me. Follow my social media. Let's talk. Reach out to me. If you have questions, if you have whatever you want to talk about, reach out to me. I have people reaching out to me all the time. I'm here to help. I'm here to let y'all know that y'all are amazing and don't ever give up on yourself. Always show up for yourself. So I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all in 2025.